If you want people to understand what is in your heart, saying it through your creativity is the best way to do it.
And that actually influences the way that I approach the songwriting process. Oftentimes I'll write a song, or I'll feel like the spirit or the universe has dropped a song into my soul, and I'll write it. It'll come out naturally. I'll pick up my phone and I'll just start my voice memo and it'll be done.
Hello, my creative friend. Welcome to the BDI Create Today podcast. This is a podcast where we'll discover the who, what, where, when, why, and how you can be creative or have more creativity. And together, we'll explore the extraordinary impact creativity can have in your life, in your heart, mind, body, and soul. And if we haven't met yet, I am Beth Buffington, a licensed artist, digital illustration instructor, and a creative coach living just outside of the windy city of Chicago, Illinois. But mostly, I am someone who is curious about how creativity can weave its way into our lives. Now, each week we're going to look at one or more of the sparkly facets that make up the ever-changing kaleidoscope that is creativity.
Hello, my creative friend. Welcome back to another episode of Create Today with Beth Buffington. You know, I like to bring in people that I find creatively fascinating. And today in my very own studio, I have Drew Jones Marquez here to talk to you about his creativity. Now, I know Drew personally and have found him fascinating since the very first day I met him. So Drew, welcome. I want you to introduce yourself and just tell our listeners who you are and what you do, and explain to them why I find you creatively fascinating.
Thank you so much for having me here, Beth. Again, my name is Drew Jones Marquez, and I have a lot of titles: dad, husband, LGBTQIA P+ advocate. I'm an educator, but I think what makes me creatively fascinating is the fact that I am an artist. I'm a vocalist, a singer, a songwriter. I'm also director of contemporary worship. And I do a bunch of other little things like collect Hot Wheels cars. And yeah, you didn't know that.
No.
And then I also have a history of drawing and painting when I was a teenager as well. So I'm really happy to be here. And I hope that this conversation encourages someone else to dive deeper into their creativity.
Oh, now you've got to meet my grandsons because they love Hot Wheels. Oh my gosh.
We would get along well.
Hot Wheel fans. I make a lot of Hot Wheel tracks. I'm really good at racing, and I'm really good at filming them in slow-mo so you can see how the crash is happening. It's pretty awesome. So, Drew, I not only know you as a really incredible artist, but just in the way you have, I don't know, live your life creatively in your music, and you're an educator in the way you're teaching your children, and in the way you're teaching your own children, and how you interact with everyone that I have seen you meet. I thought you would be great to come in and talk about creativity and how you use it in all the little onion layers and facets of your life. So first off, I'd love for you to talk about your success that you found as a professional musician, as a professional educator. How has creativity helped you in those areas? And I know that you were talking in the questionnaire that you wrote, you used the word tenacity. So if you could just expound on that and share a little.
Well, I think my musical journey started when I was quite young. My brothers and I began performing as the Jones Boys. We were a young gospel group in Chicago, a trio. And my dad was my music teacher in elementary school. We spent a lot of energy practicing music, singing in church, playing all the instruments. And in the church I grew up in, you didn't just come to church and go home. You had to learn how to play the drums. You had to learn how to play the tambourine, the piano. If we had a keyboard and organ, you had to sit on those a couple of times to just get comfortable filling in the gaps. And I think that that's where my creativity began to blossom. I spent time on stage at my school. I also found opportunities to travel. I won the Chicago Showcase for the Apollo when I was 12 and got a chance to travel with my dad to New York City and perform at the world famous Apollo.
Oh my gosh. There's a whole podcast right there.
Yes.
Oh my
that
goodness.
Experience was wonderful and also very scary because 50 people on a Greyhound bus from Chicago to New York is not fun. But the experience there was awesome and amazing. And so I continued to do music, went to college for music education, and then found myself dropping out of school as a second semester senior because I decided to get married and I had a baby on the way. And so I decided to enlist in the United States Air Force. And when I got to boot camp, I found out that they actually liked my voice, and I ended up becoming the lead singer in the Air Force band.
Oof, that's so cool. It's fascinating that you took that road, not even thinking, oh, there would be music here, and yet it followed you.
It not only followed me, but it opened so many other doors. I did eventually finish college, and I even got a master's degree while I was on active duty, came out of the military, and became a music teacher in Chicago. I was so prepared. I felt so prepared to become a teacher after living as a professional musician. What would I have done as a 21-year-old fresh out of college trying to go into the west side of Chicago to teach music? I would have not been ready. You think I have a baby face now? I really had a baby face when I was 21. And so I'm grateful for that experience to be able to travel, make a little bit of money, and actually I put out 2 albums while I was in the military as well.
I think when you're teaching, the experience you have is for life experiences, especially life experiences in what you are teaching. It really helps give you a little street cred when you're teaching, right? You say the word Apollo, and I'm pretty sure they were all like, oh, how do I do what you did?
Oh yeah, not only that, my first teaching gig, I ended up auditioning for American Idol. And yeah, I actually made it to Hollywood. And one of the things that Nicki Minaj said to me when she didn't vote for me to go to Hollywood, she said, your students are going to see you on their TV screens, and they're going to know that they can also chase their dreams. I was trying to use the necessity for me to make it to Hollywood as an excuse for her to vote for me. But actually, she ended up changing her mind after I sang another song, and it was a great experience.
Oh my gosh. I watch American Idol. I don't watch a lot of reality TV, but I love the music and just the journey that they take from it's amazing.
Yeah.
And Hollywood Week is my favorite because
yes,
I imagine that is just as horrible as they make it seem.
It actually wasn't bad. Okay. No, they treat us really well. We got, chauffeured around, gourmet food. We got to hang out with celebrities, and you just see all of these other creative people sharing space. We barely slept. We're in the hotel lobbies, hanging out, singing until 2-3 o'clock in the morning. And then we get up and go back and record again. It was a phenomenal experience.
Wow. So how far did you go after Hollywood Week?
Yeah, I made it to the semifinals, and then I got sent home. So semifinals happens in Hollywood Week.
Okay.
So after Hollywood Week, I went back to the classroom. My students were unaware because I wasn't allowed to talk about it.
No, you couldn't.
You can't talk about it because it's recorded early, about 2 months in advance. And so I just told them, you have to wait and see. You have to wait and see. But they knew what was going on. I swore them to secrecy.
So cool. Now, one of the things you talked about with success, when you find success as a creative, it's not like success means you've made it or that you are now making tons of money. You wrote about, for you, you found success when you realized that you didn't have to apologize anymore. Can you explain, like, what does that mean? And I love that idea about no more apologies.
First, it's a daily struggle. Yes. I would not say that I've arrived, but being in the Air Force during Don't Ask, Don't Tell was a struggle. Being a little bald-headed Black boy from the South Side of Chicago who knew that he wasn't straight, but growing up in a church that he loved, but around a community that he felt would not accept him was very challenging. I found myself constantly asking myself, why am I at this university majoring in music when everybody around me is better? I found myself apologizing for being a songwriter when I had all of these other songwriters around me who I felt were better singers, better writers, better keyboard players. At some point, I said, forget it. I might have used a different F word, but I said, forget it. I'm just going to do the darn thing. I realized that my kids are going to watch me. And when they become an adult, it's too late to start letting my light shine. And that's why I think the word tenacity comes in as well, because what example would I give my kids if I said, yeah, I have over 50 songs, but none of them are on the radio? Yeah, I've done 10 paintings, but none of them are in a museum. Yeah, I know how to write poetry, but I've never put my poetry on YouTube or signed up to do a show. I could not allow my kids to watch their so-called professional artist father spend 18 to 20 years raising them and have no fruit of my own creative process. I didn't want that story. And so I said, my song is not ready, but I'm going to put it out. Yes. My art is not perfect, but I'm going to sell it anyway. And actually, I have two retablo paintings that are in the Chicago Cultural Center. It's a part of their lifetime gallery. I've got some secrets, honey. I mean, I put everything in there. Yeah.
Yeah, mind blown. Now I need to see pictures. So
I have some
about this, because I think so many people who are creative, and people that I'm talking to right now, it doesn't matter if you are someone who is thinking, well, I'm no artist, how can I be creative? Because we know that everyone has creativity that you can enjoy, even if you think you're not going to go on the road with your guitar. And it doesn't mean that every piece of art that you create needs to hang in a museum. Basically, are you finding satisfaction? Are you finding that creative flow because you enjoyed the journey, you enjoyed the process, you just like what you're doing? To all my creative professionals out there, I know that there's a lot of them. What Drew just said about, he is a creative professional musician, and he took ownership that it's okay if everything you do doesn't end up hitting the charts or being on the radio or becoming a huge album. And that goes for every kind of creative passion that you're doing.
No. And it doesn't mean that you're not well known either.
Through that,
you can be well known and not be famous and not be wealthy. The average gospel artist makes less than a 20-year veteran teacher.
Wow.
But they are still putting out albums. They're still worshiping. They're still going on tour. They still have a social media presence. Their art, their creativity speaks to their soul. And what comes from the heart, it reaches the heart, Beth.
Yeah. Yeah. The creativity that is going to bring you the happiness that we talk about on the podcast, happiness in heart, mind, body, and soul. That creativity is something that is going to make your heart happy. And that when you share it with the world, you touch other people with the message, your authentic message that has to be shared. And in the world we live in today, we need the good messages. And,
for sure.
And that is the beauty of creativity, is that it's a way to express. If you really want people to understand what is in your heart, saying it through your creativity is the best way to do it.
And that actually influences the way that I approach the songwriting process. Oftentimes I'll write a song, or I'll feel like, the spirit or the universe has dropped a song into my soul, and I'll write it. It'll come out naturally. I'll pick up my phone and I'll just start my voice memo and it'll be done. Then there are other times that I make a choice to sit down and write a song. And I think about what's going on in the world. What message do people really need to hear? What message will speak to my own spirit? And I allow myself to sit in that moment until the words come to the paper. And I think maybe 90% of my songs have never been heard by anyone outside of my immediate family. And so how much of our art, how much of our creative process do we keep close to our heart?
Mm-hmm.
How much of it do we give to the world? I imagine Michael Jackson had tons of songs that no one ever heard, right?
Yeah.
Picasso probably had plenty of art that he did that never got seen by other folks. You've probably got some stuff in your closet that folks have never seen.
It's true. In my membership, I have a membership for artists, and we meet several times a month. We just had a project called a drag out, where I know it sounds like what?
Yeah.
But a drag out is a long story, something that my dad used to do when he had sibling reunions with his family. They would camp for a week, and then at the end of the week, they always had food left over. And so they had something they called a drag out, where they brought the food that hadn't been eaten, and then they would make it into something else. So, leftover bacon became an omelet. And what can we do with all these things? So we did this drag out, which for my creatives was, go find those sketchbooks where you had a sketch that you didn't use, or you had a project that you gave to a client and they had 3 ideas and they picked A, but B and C were just as good. Let's find that art and get it out there. And the things they found that was sitting that needed to get released was incredible.
I can imagine.
So what I'm looking at with what you said was, there's probably 2 different kinds of art. There's art that you've made just for your own support blanket that is just for your heart, or maybe for your family. And then there's art that you need to get out into the world. And it's up to you to decide what stays close to your heart as support, and then what needs to get shown into the world. But if you're a professional artist, if you don't share your art, then you just have a hobby.
I know that's right. You could say that again. If you're a professional and you don't share your art, you just have a hobby.
Woo! Just have a hobby.
That spoke to me.
Yes, indeed. And it's that release. I have something that I want to show. If you are always thinking, it's not finished yet, or I think this would be better if I showed it to somebody in the fall, all of those things are keeping you from shining your true value to the world, right?
I feel a little convicted right now, because I have a song called Snow in Slow Motion. It is such a beautiful song. I wrote it when I was on active duty, and every mid-January, February, I think, I should go record this in the studio for next winter.
Okay.
And every winter comes and I start singing this song in my car, singing the snowfall. And then I realized I should have started planning this recording in July or August.
What is it right now?
It is August.
It is August.
So I think maybe I should get in the studio and start working on that.
You heard it here, people. We're going to check to see when this, what's it called again?
Snow in Slow Motion. So we'll see.
Snow in Slow Motion.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. You just released it to the universe. It is out there now.
Yes.
Yeah, indeed. That's so cool. So everyone listening, what do you have that's sitting in the dark, in a closet, on a shelf, in a notebook, in however you're storing your creativity that needs to get out there? This is your challenge to release your work. So I love that. I would love for you to give a little bit more advice to creatives who are listening. What would you say to someone who is thinking, either I want to get started being creative, or I'm thinking I would like to be a professional creative, or I'm a professional creative and I'm not quite sure where to go next? What's your advice to them?
Just do it. Create. For me personally, I spend a lot of time praying, time meditating, listening to instrumental music, and then I give myself permission to mess up. And then I give myself permission to mess up some more. And I do it again and again and again. I also find 1 or 2 people who I trust with my heart. And when I'm ready, I share my art or my song, or I share my meals. That's another, cooking is art, right?
So it totally is.
But I've never been good at it.
That's okay.
I've never been good at it, but I take pictures of it and then I don't post them because I don't think it's good.
So when you're baking, even if you end up with something that you have to go, not edible, or everyone's going to eat it, choke it down, right? The fact that you made it, the chopping, the stirring, the kneading of the dough, that's so tactile.
Yeah.
also the sounds that you're creating when you're chopping, that repetitive motion in your hands, that is going to get you into creative flow.
Yeah.
It helps your brain calm down, that repetitive motion. It allows your brain to solve problems in the background.
Not just problems, but it could connect you to folks who may not be here anymore.
Yeah.
I have found myself feeling the presence of my grandmother when I was frying chicken. And it's something that you don't plan for it. And I was just there and I felt so comforted. I was like, I'm not good at frying chicken, but something about standing in that kitchen, seeing the grease pop up on those wings, it brought the spirit of my grandmother back to me. It was such a beautiful moment. And again, I don't consider myself to be a fantastic chef, but I have 6 kids. So I've got to get in there and burn something.
Yeah, indeed.
So keep doing it. That's the short answer is give yourself permission to mess up. Don't expect perfection. And then, as Beth said, release it. Whoever needs to eat the chicken wings, let them eat. Okay. Whoever needs that song. I have one friend who listens to my gospel single every single week. Jess, hey, if you're watching this, she texts me often and says, bro, I really needed this song this week. Would I have loved for my song to hit, 500,000 people? Sure.
Yep.
But if one person needed that song and it fed them, then it did its job. Yes. So release it. Don't hold on to it. Yeah. And it creates a memory.
It does.
For your kids, for your spouse, for whoever you're sharing that moment with, your friends.
It's that bonding that you can do over a meal that's so important. So I love that you're doing that. You're finding your grandmother through something that you probably found amazing comfort.
Yes.
Talking to your grandma, watching her cook in her kitchen, and then eating what I imagine was amazing.
That's what she did. That's all. That was her big thing. She cooked. She baked cakes and made spaghetti and fried fish, and she fed the whole neighborhood.
That's what grandma was. In fact, every time you saw my grandma, you'd walk into her house. Didn't matter what part of the day it was. She would ask you, can I fix you a little something to eat? She said that all the time.
Oh, maybe we had the same grandma.
Maybe we did.
For those who are not on video, we probably did it, but they may have been good friends had they known each other.
I've known each other. I'm sure they would have been sharing recipes.
For sure.
Yeah, indeed. So I know, Drew, that your life is crazy busy. You've got several jobs that you're dealing with, and you've got children and all the responsibilities you have with the personalities that you need to deal with during your day. How do you use creativity to find balance in what you're doing?
Yeah, I think creativity plays a huge role in my life, not just being a singer, songwriter, but also trusting music as a source of comfort. I use instrumental music at work to keep me moving. I also have ADHD. I don't know if you knew that about me, but having ADHD, it makes it complicated for me to sit with one task for a long period of time. That's probably why I got good at playing so many instruments, singing, drawing, because I needed to move around, and I didn't know that I had ADHD when I was growing up. And so I use music to comfort. I use music for my own therapy. And then sometimes I just have to sit in the silence. Sometimes I take an entire car ride and not play music because the absence of sound is also music.
Yes. Yes. I know you wrote in your questionnaire that you'd like to just turn everything off and listen to nature, like go outside and just
hear the sound of the birds. That's why I love living where I live now, because our home is surrounded by trees. We have birds' nests that are in our gutters. I don't like that they pick the gutters, but we allow them to stay. They are good neighbors. They bring me lots of twigs. But I think sometimes we think that we have to create something new in order to experience the joy of creativity. Sometimes it's going into one of my old sketchbooks and looking through the art that I made in high school, right? Sometimes it's sitting on the couch and doing nothing and letting my daughter know, hey, you can go play the piano if you'd like to. I use it to not only help manage my household, But I also use it to be a good dad and to be a good dean of students at the high school and to be a good director of worship at the church. There are many layers of my creativity. I've found that when I'm in conflict with people, a lot of times music can be a nice buffer to a really tough conversation. And so I've had to call teachers in to have disciplinary dialogues. I'll turn on some jazz music and keep it low. So when they come in, they can decrease their anxiety a little bit. I've also used visual art as a way to turn discipline from my kids into an opportunity for growth. So, back in the day, they used to make us write lines. I don't know if you had to write lines growing up, but yes. I will not cut Susie's hair again 100 times. Yeah. So I will actually have my kids create something as a way for them to understand their behavior. So instead of them writing lines, I might give them a blank canvas and say, draw a line down the middle, draw a picture of what happened, and then show me how you'd like to make it right. And so they have an opportunity to draw, color. They love it. They love it. It's much better than
that's a great idea. I know, talking to my daughter, who is a third grade teacher, she will talk about her children that she has a lot of challenges with. And they tend to be students that she sees a lot of promise in. So bringing out a way to have them explore themselves creatively, that's amazing.
And not only that, but I think teachers have more opportunities than most professionals to explore their creativity. So if you are a teacher and you don't think that you can draw a stick figure, or if you are, an English teacher, but you want your students to do project-based learning that requires them to draw a comic book, but you don't know how to model it, just try, because trying and failing is better than not trying at all.
Yeah.
Like my daughter, I have been taking her to get her hair professionally done. She's 6, but I've been taking her to the same beautician for a year. Since we've moved, I haven't been able to find a new hairstylist. So Daddy Drew decided that he was going to start doing some hair. And so I started looking at her head, not as a chore, but as a piece of art. What can I do that's colorful, creative? So I started looking at the colored rubber bands and the barrettes. And even though her hair doesn't turn out perfect or as nice as the professional hairstylist, I did a thing, and it not only created an opportunity for me to save money, but it gave me and my daughter an opportunity to bond as well.
Yeah, that's a great thing. And you will find that you'll start looking at other hairstyles throughout your day going,
yes, I actually have been. And most of the time the answer is no, Beth. I cannot do that, but I can do something.
Yes. But you'll start finding some creativity in what you'll do next. And you'll end up probably looking forward to doing it.
And going deeper, a little deeper in my understanding of hair care, even though I'm bald-headed for those who are not watching but listening. So I think even with my son, I haven't tried doing his hair in a while because he has really long hair, but I might even give that a shot now that I've got the daughter, taken care of.
And then what you say about just communication. I know when my girls were growing up, some of the best conversations we had was when we were in the car. You could talk about deep things because they didn't feel like the parent was boring into them, so I'm sure the same thing will happen with hair, because you aren't face to face. You feel almost a little bit more free to just kind of share
and
something.
Who knows what kind of conversations will come out of that. In therapeutic care, I moonlighted as a principal of a therapeutic day school for a year. In therapeutic care, they teach us when students are dysregulated to take them on a walk. So when you have to address their maladaptive behavior, it's sometimes more effective to get them out of the classroom and just be like, hey, you want to go to the water fountain, or you want to take a lap around the gym? There's something about that movement, getting out of that comfort zone that opens up conversation, and that can be very healing. Not sure where that falls on the creativity spectrum, but there's something about that walk that opens up the conversation.
I think, if I had to explain creativity there, I would say that it's getting past that you have to sit at my desk and let me stare at you. Like what are some creative ways to go and communicate better with children, and taking a walk and figuring out where that child would most open up. Where might they feel a little less challenged and nervous and scared talking to whoever it is that's being disciplinary with them. So,
I mean, and if I were 20 years younger, I might even plan that as part of my classroom management strategy, right? Planning those walks, putting some blank paper on my desk for when a student is dysregulated so that I could use art. I mean, all of the things that I've learned, I wish I had in a little toolkit when I was a first year teacher.
Yeah. Well, I think as life goes on, your creative toolbox just gets bigger and bigger because you learn things and you think that went well. I will keep doing that. It's a lovely thing. Yeah.
If I could only learn how to do that with my grass, then I'd be somewhere. I envy the people that can get those lines, those diagonal lines. Yes, I can't do it. Yeah. Well, not yet. See, not yet. I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
So
and again, you're doing your best, because gardening is another place where you can be very creative.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So knowing that if you're going to approach something that you're not looking forward to, if you can look at it as, how can I do this in a creative way, or think of it outside of the box so that it doesn't seem quite like a chore. That's another way to be creative. You'll hear the word creativity used in so many places, and it has nothing to do with art or music.
Yeah.
And it is just people trying to find a more beautiful way to do something that has to get done.
Cleaning your room, cleaning your desk at work.
Yep.
Get creative, know, find a new way to organize things.
Yeah. Make it prettier, make it more fun. So Drew, tell us a little bit about some projects that you're working on and how people out there in listener land can find you as a professional musician.
For sure. So I have a single out now called Power in the Storm. My stage name is Drew O'Neill. So if you look up Drew O'Neill, Power in the Storm on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, you'll find my song. I'm also working on a new single, not Snow in Slow Motion, but I have a single called Come coming out. And it's basically letting people know that no matter where you are on your journey, you can always come back to the bosom of Abraham. And so this song should be out March of 2026. And again, you can find me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Drew O'Neill Music. And then you can also find me on Facebook under the same name.
And is it true people can find you on Spotify?
Absolutely.
Yep. So what do we do to find you on Spotify?
On Spotify, you just type in Drew O'Neill, Power in the Storm.
All right. And for anyone listening going, what'd you say? I didn't get that written down. No worries. Go to the show notes. Those live links will take you straight to where you can find Drew. So take a look. Drew, this has been so nice. I have been looking forward to having this little chit chat with you for a long time. I am so inspired by what you bring to me every Wednesday when we get together to sing.
Oh.
And I am glad now that I've been able to share some of your creative sunshine to everyone that is here today to listen. So thank you for coming. We've talked about a lot of things today, not just music, not just art. So take a look at your life right now. What are you not releasing to the world? How can you find ways to solve problems creatively? How can you spend a little time just being quiet and finding your grandmother in her fried chicken? What can you do right now that will add a little bit of extra creativity to you in heart, mind, body, and soul? And my friend, no matter what you decide to do today or how you decide to bring a little more beauty into your life through your creativity, no matter what you do or where you go, you know that my wish for you is to stay creative, my friend. Thanks for coming. Drew, it's been a joy having you here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Beth. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. Bye, everyone.
Now let's pause for a moment for a note about the creative benefits you're going to find here at Create Today. Hi, I'm Beth Buffington, creative coach from Create Today.
And I'm Lisa Murphy, your healthy aging coach.
And together with our friend Margot Tantau, the creative genius behind Windowsill Chats, The Foundry, and Tantau Studios, we are inviting you to something truly special this fall, the Silva Salas Creative Resilience Retreat.
Hey friends, Margot here. Some real talk. When was the last time you gave yourself real rest? Not just a nap or a night off, but the kind of deep creative reset that fills your cup and reminds you who you are. This is more than just a retreat, it's a reset. A real chance to rest, reflect, and reawaken your creativity with the support of kindred spirits. And yes, we'll get to hang out in real life.
That's exactly why we created the Silva Salas Creative Wellness Retreat. We'll be tucked away in the gorgeous Blue Ridge Mountains from October 16th through the 19th, surrounded by fall colors, luxury accommodations, and nourishing meals. It's the ideal setting for exhaling deeply and finally hearing yourself think.
Silva Salas is rooted in the 3 C's of creative care: core care, which is self-care, creative care, and community care. Think of it as tending your inner flame so your creativity can burn brighter, longer, and more joyfully. It's the relief that comes when you finally let go and just be.
And the best part, you won't be alone. You'll be in the company of other amazing creatives who get it, who know what it's like to pour yourself out all the time and are ready to pour a little love right back in. I'll be there the whole time too, hanging out, connecting, and creating right alongside you.
We'll be exploring creative health, resilience, self-care, rest, and how to hush that inner critic so you can create from a place of confidence and clarity.
This retreat isn't just a getaway, it's a turning point. It's a gift to yourself that will ripple into every part of your life. It's not a business of art or learn another skill retreat. You already know enough. This is about the business of you.
So, my friend, if your creativity's been whispering, hey, I need a minute, well, listen to it. We would absolutely love to see you there.
So go to www.bdi-create.today/Silva-retreat. And Silva is spelled Sylva. And you can learn more and save your spot. My friend, space is super limited by design because we want to get to know you. So don't wait too long to get your reservation.